All right. Shalom, shalom, first and foremost. As always, I would like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Double honors to the apostles and unto the elders, Great Millstone, GMS for time of this truth. Honors to the brethren in the Akim that is pushing out this truth with all sincerity and in faith. And to Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai for allowing me once again to come back with another lesson. And the title of this lesson, I had a few in mind. I haven't figured out completely on what this title is going to be, or decided, I should say. But let me see if to go here through the Spirit, because it's going to be basically going off of, these verses that I'm going to read from 2nd Ezra 1, the first chapter to the 3rd verse, all the way down to about the 25th verse. And what this chapter basically, between those verses and to the last verse, it's basically going on how merciful, the Heavenly Father is, and how, His grace, and His grace is there, His mercy is there, and He's long suffering. I'll actually title it this, that brings it to mind. The book of Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, where it talks about and I'll title it such as this: as His majesty, so is His mercy. But this is Ecclesiasticus 2:18, and it says, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men. For as His majesty is, which is his majesty, his judgments, the things He does in the earth, is as great as that is, as His majesty is, so is His mercy. So His mercy is just as great as His judgments are. And His judgments, the Lord's judgments in the earth are great. Which we'll go there to, oh man, where'd you go? Zephaniah 3 and 5. And it says here, Zephaniah 3 verse 5, and it says, the judgment of the Lord, when you read Lord here, it's in all caps, right? That's referred to the Most High, the Father, okay? Which is who the world calls God, okay? Not Jesus Christ, because those two guys are not. Those are two different men, okay? One is greater than the other. And the Lord Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus, He specifies that as you read on in the Gospels, okay? The Gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, so on and so forth, etc. We got the demons out here tonight. You see, but you won't be hearing a lot of screaming like that here in these last days too. But they're gonna be for real. They ain't gonna be faking. But this is Zephaniah 3 and 5, and it says, the just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity, which iniquity is what we do every day, is sin upon sin upon sin. We're not perfect, but we strive to be perfect, just like our Father in heaven is perfect. Now, are we going to come short? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that you give in to that absoluteness. It doesn't mean that you just go and off the rails and be a complete monster and a demon in the sight of the Most High, just because you know you're not going to go and be perfect. You strive. You rehearse these righteous acts, by being a good person, by being loving, by showing your love to the Most High, the fear of the Most High. And if you could have those two key ingredients, the fear, because with fear comes love, and with love comes the fear of the Most High. And if you have those two in a drink, that there is going to be your key to walking your best to the best of your ability after righteousness. Because to fear the Most High, you're gonna love Him, and to love Him, you're gonna keep His commandments to the best of your ability. You're not gonna, worship other gods. You're not gonna steal. You're not gonna kill. You're not gonna commit adultery. You're not gonna covet your neighbor's wife, covet your neighbor's anything. And that's only a few to name amongst almost an innumerable laws, because there's so many. You can't even keep them all, but you do your best. But it says, and he will not do iniquity. Every morning doeth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not. But the unjust, which is the wicked, right, knoweth no shame. So the unjust, they don't know why. They don't know no shame. They don't understand when these terrible things happen to you, people in this world. You don't have no shame. You don't wonder why, and you still continue to walk in your own covetousness. You still continue to walk after your own heart and your own lusts. Book of Proverbs, what is that, 30:5, talks about, or is it 29? 28, 29. Yep, Proverbs 28:5, and it says, evil men, which evil, when you come across this word, all evil means is bad. It's just it sounds like a more sullen word, a much more bad word than it ought to be. It just means bad. Really, vul is bad, and e is evil. Vul is for times, so evil times. And in these evil times, you're going to have evil men, very, very wicked men. And it says, evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. So you're going to understand why the things happen, and why these things happen, and who they happen to, But see, a lot of people, they're going to see that, and then they're going to be like, oh, God, why'd you do this? Da, da, da. You're right. The one thing is, he did do it, and he did it for a reason. Because the Heavenly Father, he's a power of balance, recompense as well. He loves to pay you back for the things that you've done, whether they're good or bad. Okay, and that's the thing, is that with Israel, the Most High, he's done so good to Israel, yet when Israel's in that how would I say this? When Israel's doing, like in the wilderness, when the Heavenly Father delivered them and did so many marvelous works right before them, Israel still had the audacity to still continue to murmur, and still continue to complain, and still continue to be just a terrible people to the Lord. And the Heavenly Father, he judged them for that, and that's what we're gonna get into through the Spirit. 2 Ezra 1:4. We're just gonna read through it. 2 Ezra 1:3, and it says, the son of Aaron of the tribe of Levi, which was captive in the land of the Medes, in the reign of Artaxerxes, the king of the Persians. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, go that way, and show my people their sinful deeds. Deeds meaning their actions. And our people, even today, man, the things that you see Israel do. That's the thing, is, you'd hear about certain stuff. Like in the ancient times, you'd hear about, like, man, bro, you ever passed through Sodom and Gomorrah, bro? Hey, man, it's some shit, bro. I can only tell you, but if you think I'm lying, man, you gotta go see for yourself. You'd only be told of the shit that people were doing, and that was back then. And now you get to see everybody's shit. Israel's, Esau, all the nations, heinous crimes and terrible deeds. It's all at the click of a button, man. And it's out there, as people would say, it's out there on the internet forever, you know. And it says, and their children, the wickedness which they have done against me, that they may tell their children's children, because the sins of their fathers are increased in them. For they have forgotten me, and have offered unto strange gods. And that was one of the first capital offenses towards the Lord that Israel made, is they had gods above their God, the God, the only, the one, which is the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. And it says, and this is the Lord just going into like, bro, am I not the one? Didn't them other niggas didn't deliver you? Those other guys didn't deliver you. And it says, am I not? It says, am I? Salakia. It says, am not I even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage? But they have provoked me unto wrath, which is his anger, and despised my counsel. And it says, and pull out then the hair of thine head, and cast all evil upon them, for they have not been obedient unto my law, but it is a rebellious people. And that is, to this day, it's a rebellious people. To this day, it's a rebellious people. What was it? Ezekiel 2 and Ezekiel chapter 2 and 3, and it says, and he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. So even to this day, Israel be doing the same shenanigans, the same old things. Reading on back here in the 2nd Ezra chapter 1 and 9, and it says, How long shall I forbear them, unto whom I have done so much good? Many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh and his servants and all his power have I smitten down. All the nations have I destroyed before them. And in the east have I scattered, Salaki, and it says, and in the east I have scattered the people of 2 provinces, even of Tyre and Sidon, and have slain all their enemies. Speak thou therefore unto them, saying, Thus saith the Lord Power, I led you through the sea. In the beginning I gave you a large and safe passage. I gave you Moses for a leader, and Aaron for a priest. I gave you light and a pillar of fire, and great wonders have I done among you. Yet ye have forgotten me, saith the Lord. So the Lord's done all these things, and Israel still has forgotten the Lord. Still says, hey, that was kind of cool what he did for us, but hey, let's go worship some other gods, man. I've been out, man. I can't wait. That's what Israel's mindset was, which is fucking crazy when you think about it. It's just like, bro, how could you? It's like, I don't have a good example for it right now, but it's almost insane to be, here it is, you save somebody, and then here is they have the audacity to, the person or the thing that you saved them from, they're over here trying to run and make their way back to it. And it's just like, bro, didn't I just save you? What was all this shit for then, bro? You're gonna look at that dude and be like, well, hold on, let me talk to you to the side real quick, bro. Nigga, what the fuck's wrong? You gonna tell him, like, bro, what is wrong with you, bro? So, and that's what the Lord, he's laying down all the things that he's done, and he's all, but you still got something to say, bro. What's your deal, man? What the fuck? And it says, I gave, in verse 15, it says, and thus saith the Lord, Almighty Lord, the quails were as a token to you. I gave you tents for your safe passage. Nevertheless, ye murmur there. I triumph not in my enemy. And it says, and try. I'll read that again. It said, and I gave you tents for your safeguard. Nevertheless, ye murmur there. And it says, and triumph not in my name for the destruction of your enemies, meaning, giving all the praises to the Most High, like the water Yahweh Ba'Shem Al Shai for saving me and delivering me from my enemies. That's what the Lord would expect. Just like somebody saved your life, you're going to be like thanking them, And then, and it says, but ever to this day do you yet murmur. And it says, where are the benefits that I have done for you? When ye were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did ye not cry unto me, saying, why hast thou brought us into this wilderness to kill us? It had been better for us to have served the Egyptians than to die in this wilderness. And you see, and that's what the Heavenly Father had to do to weed out all those, evil, wicked, and weak individuals of his nation. To bring them out into the wilderness, to see those who would have their faith on him and those that would not. And those that did, such as Joshua and Caleb, they entered to the promised land. But everybody else, what happened? They all died in that wilderness. And that same generation is back here today, about ready to experience the same exact death that they experienced in the wilderness. Beyond that, And it says, and then did I have pity upon your mourning, and I gave you manna, so did ye eat angels' bread. And when ye were thirsty, did I not cleft the rock, and waters flowed out of your fill? For the heat I covered you with the leaves of the trees. I divided among you a fruitful land. I cast out the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and the Philistines before you. What shall I yet do more for you? Thus saith the Lord. And it says, and thus saith the Almighty Lord, when you were in the wilderness, in the river of the Amorites, being athirst, and blaspheming my name, which is a no good thing, I gave you not fire for your blasphemies. Meaning, I should have beat you, should have done you dirty, but I didn't. You're lucky. And it says, I gave you not fire for your blasphemies, but cast a tree in the water and made the river sweet. Right? And it says, what shall I do unto thee, O Jacob, thou Judah? Wouldest not obey me? I will turn unto the other nations, unto whom I will give my name, that they may keep my statutes. In verse 25, here's the point, and it says, seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. And when ye desire for me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. And that's when the Lord is going to get busy on his people. Because look, at the judgment at the end of the day is going to start at the house of the Most High. And he's not going to have no pity, have no mercy. And then he's going to get the other nations too, because he ain't forgot about them neither. The Most High, he's coming for his get back. He's coming to get his lunch money. He's coming to collect, all right? But through the Spirit Akim, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I pray this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting. And as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakak B'Dash. And it's on to the next one, brother. Shalom.